Hello there, great person, and welcome back to Let's Dive into Warhammer 40k. Today we're going to do a bit smaller video because of my time constraints that I currently have, but also please tell me which Primarch I should do a lore video on next, because I want to do a Primarch next, and I just want to know your opinion on who I should react to next in that regard. Also, I will probably in a moment look up this Tacticus game. Down the line, I will do a little let's play because I saw it in the hospital when I was waiting for my children to be nursed by the nurses. Anyway, and I saw adverts for the Tacticus game, and I wanted to see if it is any good. So we will do that as well in the following days. But now I want to react to Planets of the Imperium Death by Luetin09, our good old friend Luetin. I also saw that Bricky did a new video, and I will probably react to that one as well if you want me to. It's the timeline. I guess I know the timeline pretty well, but it might be nice to fresh everything up. And yeah, so this has been going on long enough. I will now just react to it, and also don't forget to like the original video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and comment on what you thought down below, as always. And now let's go. Good old Luetin, I've missed you. Let's see what he has today. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. That's what they said. I like that. In the Emperor's service, the Death Corps will pay any price. Lord Marshal Arnim Kagori. Oh, perhaps we will deal with the Death Corps today. I would love that. I was promised a planet. I want a planet, but I also kind of now want the Death Corps. Core. I know it's core. I just am an idiot. Oh no, it in fact is Death Worlds. Ooh, that's a very, very nice soundtrack. And we've got some World War II imagery. Great. Badass looking Space Marine. Hello, mate. Ooh, what is that? That actually looks pretty cool. That looks really cool. Is that like a cooled off volcano or something? Looks like a hardened ash. I don't know. What do you think? Is that a moon? That's no moon.
So we returned today to a series I had semi-forgotten about, but thanks to some of you reminding me, we continue in looking at the planet types, conditions and installations of the Imperium of Man.
Oh, that's cool. So will we look at planet type, installation, or what?
The Imperium is estimated to constitute over 1 million worlds. One of the ongoing quests carried out by the Imperium is to locate and unite any potential lost human colonies, and in a sense the crusade of the Emperor continues to the current day.
Oh, I'm stupid. I never considered that they were also looking for lost colonies. Oh, yeah, of course. I was so focused on this. We will bring war to the galaxy in our holy crusade and conquer it, that I forgot that they lost colonies in the Age of Strife, I guess.
As we've seen, the Imperium has civilized worlds where civilians live their lives, some with a fairly reasonable quality of life, others are privileged to help maintain paradise worlds of lush environments and entertaining the nobility and rich traders, or maybe those in positions of power.
That is interesting. How does that work? Like, how many nobles are there? Like, look at this. Let's say this is an actual whatever world you just said, like this noble world, lush world, paradise world, whatever, where like things like these cathedrals and arches are, and the spires, and I don't know, like this goth Marvel architecture. How many people actually use that? Like, how many nobles are there that use these things, and how many people keep them intact and working for those nobles? Like, is it a lot or not? I wonder. That's weird.
Other worlds are dedicated entirely to warfare or operating as military stockpiles.
Yeah, we've
And then
heard
there are,
about
of course, the
those.
Forge and Hive worlds that represent the industry and manufacturing concerns of the
Yeah.
Imperium,
Yeah, I know
neither of
about
which are
those.
particularly
Yeah.
appealing to most, as the habitation there means a life of grinding labour and servitude in extremely poor conditions.
Yeah.
Some planets, though, are either naturally extremely hazardous or have become ruined as a result of Imperial manufacturing, production, or excessive resource exploitation, and these are designated as the Death Planets.
Ah, so Death Planet is basically something not as crass, but um, something a bit like what Tyranids leave behind. Only that the Death Worlds, that there's more stuff left behind than just nothing, like a rock.
These are classified as generally being uninhabitable by humans. However, this is not to say that they are not necessarily uninhabited. You may find mutants,
Okay.
scavs, exile, or those within the Imperium unfortunate to find themselves assigned or posted to a death world because it holds some tactical or material worth.
I
Living in
see.
such a place means that every day for those who find themselves there somehow in such a world of horror is a daily war of attrition.
Wow.
Now, waste
Waste
planets are much, as
worlds.
you might imagine, a miserable ruin of a world where the entire planet's surface has been condemned to endless oceans of waste material.
So let me get this straight. They don't have like a garbage area, they have garbage planets. So like I wonder if they also carry their waste there, or if it's just a planet that's so run down that it became a wasteland. No pun intended. Yes, there was pun intended. I'm starting my dad jokes now. I'm sorry.
A never-ending horizon of rubbish and hazardous waste. Chemical, biological manufacturing, it's all simply transported here and then offloaded.
Okay.
And very little
Okay,
real
okay.
information exists as to how these planets are utilised by the Imperium. It's possible they are literal planet-wide fill sites where material is deposited by dropship and no one ever sets down on the planet itself.
Why would you use a planet for that? Just throw it into a black hole. Like seriously, just throw it into a black hole. I'm sure you have enough black holes in the galaxy. Just throw it into one, like it will just disappear. I mean, you might get cooked by a gamma ray burst, but I don't think that's likely. So just throw it into a black hole. Like why ruin planets?
This, though, seems far too boring for the Imperium, so allow me to speculate and imagine for a moment. Much written off machinery or mothballed hardware could be used if properly recycled, and I think given the Imperium's massive availability of human workers coupled with an almost endless supply of penal slave workers, it would make complete sense that on at least some waste worlds, these poor souls would be housed on dilapidated hives, or at the very least some equivalent to an old manufacturing facility that has been converted to allow its now drone-like workers to strip useful components and material from the waste which endlessly accumulates.
That makes sense. What does this remind me of? Waste Planet. I'm getting two associations. I once get Wall-E. Was it called Wall-E, the little robot on Earth that like was the waste disposal robot? That, and also wasn't there in Jedi Fallen Order in the beginning? I only played the beginning because I did not have the time to finish the game. Wasn't it also that they lived like, what was his name? The Jedi, the young one. Didn't he live on a waste planet, or in a waste disposal plant at least? I think it was a plant on Coruscant, but reminds me of that as well. I could think of cool stories on planets like these, though. I agree with Luetin here. Like you could even have people that try to like build together a spaceship to escape or stuff like that. It would be so badass.
Others perhaps are tasked with reprocessing chemical waste, perhaps turning it into ammunition or raw materials to transport to a forge world, or until their bodies literally disintegrate from the acrid chemical environment.
Yeah.
It'd be fair to imagine that on such worlds its assigned workers may take issue with such assignments, and not unlike many hive worlds, an underclass of gangs and rebels could take hold outside of or within the darker recesses of the main workforce's habitation.
But you could have the zombie things there. What are they called? The people who are I'm sorry, I forgot the name again. You told me like 3 times already. But you know who I mean, like the people with the implants that are like their body is controlled by the Empire and not them anymore. Like the servitors. See, I'm dumb. Servitors. Like, is it perhaps a planet where all the servitors are used, and not all, but only servitors are used here on the planet, and this is also perhaps where they are manufactured? That would be so disgusting. Oh man, that would be so wrong, because they are human waste. That's why they are processed. Oh my God. I hope that's not the case.
Whatever the reality, I'm sure it's far more miserable and harrowing than simply a planet where waste materials are dumped, because
Yeah,
that
for
would be far
sure.
too simple and boring for the Imperium of Man.
Yeah, because they don't like boring. They only like horrid. Forbidden
Worlds are
worlds.
also relatively self-explanatory. The reason
What would a forbidden world be? He will tell me now, but I will speculate. Something happened on those worlds where they are like, nope, not gonna go back. The Eldritch experiment on that world went too badly. We will just leave now.
reasons as to why are perhaps less immediately clear. It's likely not something your average Imperial pleb citizen is going to ever have to decide about either way, because only high-ranking Imperial officials, civilian or military, rogue traders and the Mechanicus may have cause to travel to or from such worlds. A better way to describe Forbidden Worlds is that they are technically designated as being temporarily too much trouble by the Imperium.
Okay, so it's just, yeah, don't go over there. It's not that nice there. You know what? When they do the movies, I so hope we get a Forbidden World, and I so hope they will be creative with that one. That would be so badass. That would be so
And this
fire.
means they have either suffered some catastrophe that has rendered them so dangerous as to essentially exist under a permanent state of quarantine.
I would love to have a forbidden planet where a Satan shard is, and it's like a Satan shard that was so badly damaged in the war in heaven that it lost its mind, or like, and it's just a remnant of its mind, like just like this weird eldritch thing slumbering under the planet's surface, a bit like the dragon or whatever was on Mars, but a lot more like a lot less powerful, but also more exotic and weird. I would love a movie on a planet like that.
You may think to yourself, well, why not just exterminatus the planet if it's
Yeah,
that
why
bad?
not?
It's a
Tactical, perhaps they have tactical advantages there.
fair point, except this takes resources, and resources you need not spend for the stroke of a pen or signature on a data slate. Demonic incursions that have gotten out of control, aggressive plagues, identified Xenos tombs, if you're thinking about the Necrons.
What, aren't plagues chaos as well? Like, wouldn't plagues always employ good old Nurgle cooking a soup of plagues, giving it to the planets so they are forbidden and he can have fun there? I don't know. It sounds weird. I mean, it's self-explanatory that they would designate Necron worlds as not safe. It's like, yeah, there are like metal half gods there, and don't go there, they will murk you.
Examples of why a planet may be quarantined permanently. The reason many of these worlds are not simply just obliterated is that they might often contain something the Imperium may consider of value or potential interest in the future. In the
Yes. I want a movie about the Forbidden Planet the same way I said it, but the corrupted, heavily damaged Satan shard guards one of these AI computer things that we love so much, or a blueprint for one of its modules or something, and they have to go there and save it to fix or to create something against a chaos invasion that's imminent near Earth or something. I don't know.
Inquisition are usually the ones who make the declaration of a forbidden world. It could be that something unusual or mysterious has been discovered, perhaps from an alien race that have been long dead or abandoned the world, or perhaps various Imperial explorers have travelled to a place and then just never been seen again.
That would be so awkward. You know Henry? Yeah, he was great. Where is he? Yeah, he went to that world, didn't come back. Oh, that's bad. You know George? Yeah, I love George. Where is he? Yeah, he also went to that world, like he never came back. better put it off the records just to make sure.
And remembering that the Imperium is nothing if not pedantic, and a world marked forbidden will no doubt eventually be dealt with either by typical brute Imperial force or a rogue trader who had the foresight to raise a well-prepared expedition.
Yeah, they also would pose a great story device for like a very experienced unit of Space Marines or something like that, or Inquisitors that are like sent there and they're like wondering themselves, like, why are we going there? It's just a forbidden world. Normally there's nothing with them, but on that world there was. On that world there was. I want that. Oh god, I want that
The
now.
rewards could range from anything like natural material resources, Xenos technology that can be converted, questionably, or even if we dare to dream, an STC fragment.
Yeah, man, Luetin, you're my man. That's what I thought. STC fragment. That's what I said. I just forgot the STC as a term.
The most disturbing aspect of Forbidden Worlds, though, is that they may often remain inhabited. Human survivors from whatever horror has befallen their world will likely persist, and they are likely entirely unaware that their planet has been written off. The result of this could vary. Some may attempt to seek a way to escape their intolerable situation, and some who may have had knowledge of their exclusion may see it as the Emperor's decree and either sacrifice themselves to prevent any further spread of whatever has infected their world, or maybe they just cannot deal with their reality any longer.
Yeah, riots, cults. Like, this is how you birth a cult. Like, man, yeah, you can really birth some. Like, it's a plantation for a cult or for cultists. Brilliant.
And finally, those remaining could repeat scenes last seen during the Age of Strife by descending into an apocalyptic survival of the fittest situation as resources become scarce and civil order disintegrates. Those who somehow manage to find means of escape will likely be destroyed after initial contact as they exit the orbit of a planet. Very rarely, though, some may make their escape or manage to stow away on Imperial vessels, performing inspections closer to the planet's surface.
So something I'm still missing as a piece of information from Mimir is, are they guarded? Are Forbidden Worlds guarded, or are they just gonna write it into this data sheet, into this database? It's forbidden, whatever. Like, or are there like active warships in the orbit?
These individuals will likely have lost whatever faith they had in the Imperium previously and now focus on self-reliance and ruthless use of their own initiative. This extreme sense of survival, coupled with a distrust of all others, make escapees of forbidden or quarantine worlds highly dangerous individuals, who will not blink an eye to cut the throat of someone who they think may suspect or reveal their origins, or as a necessary means to acquire whatever they may need if they feel that they can get away with it cleanly.
Death worlds. Okay, so there are really death worlds. A death world is where you die. It might be an execution world, it might be a world that's just so poisonous and radiated that you just die.
And then we come to the death worlds. It's important to be clear that death worlds are not dead worlds. They are usually, if anything, more alive than you would prefer, because death worlds mean that they're going to be just very hazardous to your health, either by natural or
very hazardous to your health, and that you die. You die. What is that even? Like, it sounds looks kind of cute. It's a spider yeti. Brilliant. I love spider yetis.
Environmental conditions, or because you didn't notice quickly enough that the guys at the back of your column have been dragged off into the undergrowth by a tentacled monstrosity with more teeth than a flashy orc. This world could also be created as a result of a devastating planetary war.
Wow. That looks awesome. That's so eerie. Horses with gas masks. I'm sorry, that's German. Gas masks. Like, I've never seen that. That's very eerie.
The planet of Krieg, which suffered a complete environmental collapse as a result of being bombarded with nuclear weapons, is one such example.
Oh, Krieg. Is Krieg what I think it means? Like, is it Krieg? You know what that means, right? In German, it means war. It is like the ultimate war. So, but also might mean a creek, planet Krieg, like the creek, like with water.
Maybe vast desert planets, ocean worlds, ice worlds, irradiated wastelands, or dense jungles full of vicious native creatures.
Okay, wait. Something I just realized. Is it like in Star Wars? Are there like elemental worlds in Warhammer 40k? Because that's so weird. I think I've seen a talk about that once by an astrobiologist or something, or an astrogeologist. Because in my former department, they had also department of astrogeology. They were like mainly researching the moon, but so I think someone told me that these, or not me, but there was this talk. They had this Astro Week, and there was the talk about this kind of planet, and they said that it's very unusual to have a planet that's only one element, so to speak, like desert or ice, or I think with desert and ice, it's the most possible one you can really have, but like a jungle planet, that's probably not gonna happen because you have poles and you've got an equator with like whatever, like you've got habitable different zones of vegetation. I think always. So that's weird. I wonder how they have it in this universe here. I mean, they also could have found some technology to make this happen, but I would love to know that. So if you know another video where they explain that how it is in 40k, please tell me in the comments.
Any of these classifications, though, may not be dangerous enough to be qualified as a death world, because many planets across the Imperium could be called a desert world or ice world if
Yeah.
they're quite easily colonised. It's only those in the very extreme that are death worlds, and yet these may even have colonies of humans stationed on them. The reasons for which may have long since been forgotten, and simply the fact that those who call these worlds their home have become experts at surviving their harsh conditions is reason enough.
So, like, basically those that have Fremen on them.
Because their skills and directly pragmatic approach as extreme world specialists
Yeah,
have
look at the
becoming
Fremen.
ideal
Fremen of
recruitment
fighting.
material for the Imperial Guard, Arbites, or even as Space Marines, who are looking
Ooh, that looks
always
sick.
for those able to survive the extreme of the extreme.
Yeah, right. They probably take some Space Marine candidates from those worlds because like there was a joke just now with the Fremen, but it makes sense. Like the Fremen make a lot of sense, so it would also make sense here to have on Death Worlds like Fremen like tribes really have them like that, like disregarding the jokey comment I made. Like it could be Fremen like cultures that develop in these harsh worlds, which that's what I love about the Fremen and the Aiel as well. That they are these desert cultures that, through their environment, became very hardened and strong and sturdy against the influences of nature and stuff. I love that concept. So they might actually take many of the recruits for the Space Marines from here. Actually, that's so cool.
Some may, as with Forbidden Worlds, contain vast mineral wealth, and humans stationed there are simply a necessity, with the settlement being maintained despite the difficulty and high levels of inherent dangers. Mechanicus biologists speculate that some of the excessively dangerous creatures that inhabit these worlds are in fact Tyranid relics left behind from past incursions, and now cut off from the hive mind of the fleet are left to pursue more natural, self-serving behaviour.
Oh, so basically, if I understood that correctly, and yes, this Tyranid looks like Cthulhu, but I digress. So they are Tyranids that are cut off from the hive mind and like self-evolved into weird shit. Get you, mate. Okay.
Many creatures on designated death worlds are easily lethal enough to be qualified as Tyranid-esque, and we know from Imperial discoveries that Tyranids have been probing the galaxy with their ships for far longer than originally thought. The populations on death worlds are pure survivalists. Everything in their daily lives will be focused around maintenance of their facilities and environmental infrastructure, as well as continuing to keep an airtight defense around their habitat. Efficiency in all respects is key, as there is no room for wastage in any sense.
Why does that guy that has repent on his gun, this dude here, I hope you see my mouse, this dude, why is his mouth sewn shut? Why? Like, is he annoying? Was he annoying? Was he Deadpool from Wolverine? But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I love that. I also like the jungle style, the Rambo style they've got going here.
Even those unable to perform physical duties will play some role, even if that's just simply the upkeep of morale for others. The extremes of the conditions and pressures of maintaining their habs often leads many who exist on a death world to succumb over time
Yeah, like this planet, it is like if it's very, very small, I think it could be that it's just green, but that's very unnatural that it's just green. Also, there's not enough water for it to be green, I think. But like, I'm not an expert in this. I've only known this one. Like, like I've known an expert, so to speak, on this, but like only by seeing them. Like I didn't talk to them a lot. Like, so I just heard the talk.
To the immense mental pressure of this. Mental collapse from stress is not uncommon. However, it also allows for those who are naturally able to deal with this high level of pressure to come to the surface and take their place as natural leaders and administrators.
Yes,
The real
great.
challenge comes from those who have to venture outside the relative safety of the environmental hab, which is often an unfortunate requirement for those on a death world. Resources may need to be collected for off-world transportation or regular patrols to protect those doing the resource collection, or simply to prevent damage to the infrastructure. The result of the hardships of living on a death world for its inhabitants are that those who hail from such worlds are usually very focused on what needs to be achieved and how this is to be done.
Yeah. What I said, like it's just this determination, this hardened way of life, this hardened mentality that will make them pretty well, like pretty great warriors, I think.
They carry a pronounced sense of focusing on the group and not the individual, and they are wary of forging social relationships that run too deeply. They much prefer to keep others at arm's length, as in their experience most personal relationships are not especially permanent.
Oh no. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's so
And they
sad.
essentially have developed a series of coping mechanisms to protect themselves from the daily horrors of living on a death world. This leaves them in the eyes of others to appear cold and disconnected, yet simultaneously
that
very
looks cool.
clear-minded and fiercely determined
it's a
to
statue.
complete whatever is required, whatever the cost. They will often be seen to choose solutions that are the most direct and the fastest option, preferring to deal with tasks in an often recklessly direct approach that others would consider way too dangerous and want to explore alternative choices.
I love that. Oh, that makes so much sense as well. Like, because I don't know if I have ever talked about this. I don't know. I will talk about it now. If I've talked about this, you can like skip a bit ahead. But that is very, 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 very profound. Oh, and it is Krieg. I just see it here. Like this is it. If this is the planet, they were like the Krieg thing. That this means war in German. Like this German word for war. War. Anyway, I digress. So if you are, so basically we have these basic needs. Like we have to be fed, we have to be active in the intimate ways to procreate, we have to eat and be at a good temperature so we don't die, and stuff like that. So there are very, very basic needs. And I don't even mean this pyramid of needs that exists, but really, like there are very, very primal needs that are almost reflexes wired into your brain. And if they are all if you don't have them, like if you satiate them all, everything's fine, and you can do stuff like play around, explore, have some fun, let yourself go and stuff, you know. So, but that's a luxury that people on these worlds will not have. So they will be used to this reflexive way of life, like reflexes, and they will be quick because if you're not quick, you're dead. And that's pretty like because that is basically the thing. If you are used to these basic needs not being met, you will act very reflexively and stuff because your environment will kill you otherwise. So they're used to that, and it's very, very nice that they wrote that in here. It's like it makes a ton of sense, and I love it. I love this one. This is great. And if you are in a more sheltered world, you can think of things like tomorrow or later today, because they can't. They can't think of a year from now. It makes no sense for them. They have to think of, okay, tomorrow, perhaps about tomorrow, but not about the day after tomorrow. And you, like, or the others, they are like sheltered in a way. They can think about what's next year, what will we do in the future. Like for them, the future is like 2 seconds away, and everything else doesn't count. So I really like this. It's also a horrid life. I think it's an exhausting, horrid life. but it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And by the way, that will also happen to people in the Empire as well if they are overrun by orcs. Like, that's basically what happens when you get into a war. Like, if you live a sheltered life and then the tanks come in and you're like, basic need of protection of the body's gone and you just live for the next moment. Like, that's the status, the state they're in. And they can deal with that. You probably couldn't and I probably couldn't, but they can deal with that. I really like this. This is well written. Love it.
The Imperial
Brilliant.
Guard warriors of Krieg are perhaps the most extreme example of this, where
It's not called Krieg. It's called Krieg. Krieg. You know, I'm sorry.
they exhibit such a casual disregard for their own lives.
He did very well with the pronunciation. Actually, I'm an asshole.
Deathworld inhabitants who are able to withstand the mental and physical pressures of such a life are fine-tuned individuals forged by a daily war of attrition with their surroundings. They are likely to crack from high pressure or high threat situations, and their minds are highly focused and able to make sharp snap choices that others would hesitate.
Oh wow, look at the walker.
As a result. Self-sacrifice for the whole is something embedded into them from an early age and will have built up a tolerance for conditions that many other humans would simply break down from.
Yeah, that as well makes so much sense. That is also ingrained in them, because so many people die here that they cannot count on them being there again. So like for long. So they have to find a way of living where they can live with someone being gone that was essential. So, oh god, this is so horrid, but it's brilliant.
Deathworlds yield some of the most extreme specialists in the Imperial Guard, including the Jungle Fighters of Katashan, the Desert Raiders of Talan, the Ice World Valhallans, and yes, of course, the Death Corps of Krieg.
The Death Corps of Krieg! I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop it. I know I must sound like this one dude who shouted in my ear all the time. I will stop it now. It's just so funny because that's what Germans always shout in movies.
Which brings me finally to the easiest planetary designation.
Yeah, I know why that world's dead. It was either bombed to shit, or it's just a moon without anything on it.
Dead worlds. Now, there's little to say, as these are worlds which do not contain any forms of biological life. They may not even contain an atmosphere or have very limited gravity. These worlds are not able to support life and would require massive terraforming to become usable, and this is usually seen as an unnecessary and wasteful use of resources.
How do they terraform? Like, do they have magic devices like in Star Trek 3? Or do they like do it with microbes and plants and perhaps accelerated growth and bioengineering and weather control? Or how do they do that? That's interesting. I hope there is a video on that one day I can watch. I love terraforming. I love it. Just love it. So yeah.
They may, though, still be used as monitoring outposts, research stations, or potentially mining operations. All of these would require specially purpose-built habitats that can provide a secure atmosphere, as well as any research or processing facilities needed. There are, of course, worlds, for example like the Moon of Terror, that may have always been classified as a dead world. However, in more recent times you've seen planets be classified as the result of devastating assaults by Xenos.
Yeah, by Xenos. I guess that, like the Tyranids, they leave behind these moon-like worlds. Also interesting that they are speaking of, or Luetin as well, because they are. So he speaks of dead worlds and not dead planets. So it's not just about planets, but also about moons. I like that. So our moon is also a world.
These are usually planets that have been ravaged by Tyranid fleets and are consequently
that's what I
with
thought.
barren dead husks, with often not even any mineral wealth remaining, just pure dead rock. It's possible, though, that a planet becomes designated if it were required to carry out an exterminatus upon the planet. The result being the complete destruction of the biosphere and the extermination of all life, sentient or otherwise, on the planet. This is performed by the Imperium usually when a planet risks contaminating others in a system with disease, the incursions of chaos, or some out-of-control mutation or other horrors that has grown beyond the ability to control and suppress it by conventional means. Ancient dead worlds, though, can often appear deceptively dull, yet contain in actuality an extreme danger. For many
The moon's an egg. What? The moon's an egg? Has it always been an egg? I'm sorry that episode was a bit dumb. If you know what I mean, shoutouts to you. You're awesome. But yeah, I think I wonder if they have like planetary or worldly, whatever you say, reconnaissance. Like do they send down drones like the Empire or Servitors, or do they have scans from orbit? I think they had scans from orbit in Infinite and Divine, but I don't know which era that was. So
Many dead worlds have been known to now contain the tombs of the until recently dormant race known as the Necrons.
yeah,
They placed themselves in hibernation within their tombs on many dead worlds as long ago as some 60 million years and are now scattered across the inhabited systems of the Imperium. Some of these
Yeah.
dead planets may even contain ancient relics or ruins of the pre-Necron race, the Necron tier, hidden below the surface.
Is that how Necron Tail look, by the way? In Infinite and Divine, it was always so foggy, and they never showed what they looked. But it would make sense.
And these sites may often be discovered by archaeological expeditions led by the Mechanicus, their curiosity often leading them into ancient Necron tier ruins that do not immediately appear to be Necron in origin, and then they may unwittingly awaken the Necrons who are slumbering deeper in their tomb, thus
That would probably not make their day because they hate them.
dooming themselves and any nearby worlds to almost certain obliteration. We will cover tomb worlds in more detail when we reach the Xenos worlds section of this series.
Oh, nice.
Coming next in the planetary series will be the resource worlds. These are the planets that supply the raw materials that keep humanity operational. And
I'm sorry, is that a floating chapel? That looks awesome. But yeah, I if you want me to react to this resource world video, tell me. Like, I will probably do it down the line. I think these are very interesting. I love these planet videos. I mean, I've only seen this one, but
until then, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.
yes, drop him a like. Please drop him a like. This was awesome already. Again, I love it. So, yeah. Death worlds. The worlds of death. Of Krieg. I'm sorry. I'm so glad I have a limiter in the microphone, so you probably have not had your eardrums ruptured just now. Yeah, that was very awesome. I love that. I can't. I'm so glad I watched lore again. It's so cool. I will see what I will do next. I wanted to do a Primarch, but if you have other suggestions, tell me, and I might do something else. And yeah, I think I will now. I still have some time left because this did not take that long, even though I talked a lot again. But that's why you're here, I've heard. So brilliant. And I will see what that is about. And yes, as always, please take care of yourself, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on what you thought, and I will see you in the next video. So take care of yourself. As I said, it's important to take care of yourself. See you around. Bye.